Welcome to this week's episode of the NFL's Where to Play Performance Series. And on this episode, we're highlighting the 2019 NFL sack leader, Shaq Barrett. How does a guy go from undrafted to 5 years later leading the National Football League with 19 and a half sacks? Well, you know what? It's not every day that you get an opportunity to hear from a Pro Bowler himself on how he's done it.
So I'm gonna load everything up on my up foot, and then I'm gonna start getting low on my stance once I see the play clock getting low, and when I take the quarterback by the hiking, so I go get a good get off and not fall a step.
Got it.
So I'm get down, start leaning lower, grab a lot of ground with that first step.
Say that again, grab ground with that first step. What does that mean exactly?
Is to get cover as much distance and have as much power, because at that first step, the tackle's gonna know what he wanna do after your first step and how you're gonna rush. So you grab a lot of power when you grab, like get as much. Now you don't want to overextend, so like probably about a yard is good. So if you get that yard, you can have the tackle, guessing whatever you're going to overset you because you think you're going real fast, and then you can stop, come under. So the get off is the key to everything for me.
You've heard it from the man himself. Grabbing ground is the key to his success. So now let's walk through and talk through how to grab more ground.
When breaking down a dynamic player like Shaq Barrett, a lot of times we get enamored with the finish of the play. In his case, that's quarterback sacks, and that's great. That's what he's there for. But there's something happening prior to that we have to account for, and that's a great get-off, or grabbing ground, as he calls it. So way prior to the sack, a great get-off is what sets that up. So we're going to take a look at this, and I have two drills for you, ultimately there for improving your get-off. So I'm going to take CJ here. I'm going to ask CJ to get on one leg and put your hands in the air. So he has his right leg up. I want you to throw your hands down as fast as you can and catch yourself on your right leg. One more time. Really catch yourself in balance. Good. So ultimately what we're doing here is improving his ability to absorb force on that right leg. And also we know that when we work fast eccentrics, i.e. he's throwing himself down there, that it can improve our concentric strength, which is that ability to put force to the ground and grab ground, as Shaq Barrett calls it. So what we're also looking for here is when you're catching yourself, go ahead, do it one more time. If you put your leg down from there, you get your balance, you should be in a good sprinter stance and a good position to come off the ball. And what we love to do to challenge that is bring in a med ball, or this could be a weight, a 10-pound ball, 10-pound weight, something not crazy heavy. And we're gonna do the same thing. All I want CJ to do is go back on that one leg, raise your other leg, hands in the air, and slam that ball without letting it go. So now we're increasing the load and the speed of what his leg is going to absorb, ultimately helping his improving his get off, or grabbing ground, as Shaq Barrett calls it.
Now, the next drill that we're gonna do a simple broad jump, but it's gonna be a single leg broad jump because we know nobody's jumping off the line with two legs, right? We don't wanna grab ground, we wanna get that get off, and this is a good movement. It's gonna help build that power that we need. So we're gonna take a cone here, go ahead, drop that ball. Come line up right here, Taylor.
Facing
out, and for measuring purposes, grab two cones, or if you don't have two cones, maybe grab a couple cups or a couple balls, whatever. But you want to feel like you're grabbing ground. We're looking for that distance. We're trying to displace our body, right? Drive force behind us so we can go forward, but we're going to do it from a single leg. Now show them what a normal broad jump is, just for people that doesn't know what that looks like. Good, as you can see, right? He's just driving force to the ground, down and behind him, and he's catching himself. Now we're going to do it with one leg. And Taylor already kind of prepped us for understanding how to absorb that force on one leg. So we're going to drive from one leg and land on the opposite. And we're gonna try to hold it, we're gonna try to stick it. Ready? Drive. Good. Bring it on back, let's do it one more time. And as you can see, he's driving force behind him, okay? He's trying to get as much distance as possible, right? We're building that speed strength that we need to get off the ball. Ready? Say go. Good, and obviously we need that absorption because that's ultimately gonna help us to put it all together when we get into performance. So, that's your broad jump, right? So go ahead and do that with the right leg, do it with the left leg as well. Use the other cone to kind of mark where you are, because at the end of the day, we want to feel like we're grabbing ground. We want to feel like we're getting that distance. But when you get over into performance, what you have to understand is it's not about focusing on the distance now. It's about focusing on just pushing that ground away. Because you focus on getting distance, what you're going to do is you're going to reach out, right? You're going to reach out, okay? And come turn to the side, do that again. Reach out. right? And that's what we would call like a negative shin angle. That's not what we want, right? In order to be able to keep driving force forward, we need a positive shin angle. Show them what a positive shin angle will look like. As you can see, right, that knee's in front of the ankle, he's able to drive that force back and away. And what that's gonna do is allow you to keep putting force to the ground, okay, and driving and moving our bodies.
You heard it from Shaq Barrett himself. Grabbing ground is the key to having an explosive and powerful get-off. We're gonna give you a couple movements that you can use in your training to help build that ability to grab ground off the ball. So we got a couple movements for you that are really gonna focus on improving your ability to grab ground and then explode out of your stance. The first one is really gonna focus on improving your ability to grab ground in your stance, because Shaq Barrett, he has a great get off, and that starts with his stance. So we're gonna get into a front foot elevated split squat. Now all that is getting into a lunge position with the front foot slightly higher. So if you have a couple books, if you have a plate, we have a box, you wanna just get that front foot about 6 inches off the ground. And now instead of going straight up and down like a normal split squat, we're gonna take the knee and try to drive it as far as we can over the toe without the heel coming off the ground. And we're gonna go back. What this is doing is really improving the ability to grab ground in your stance. One flaw that you see with a lot of young athletes is they get up on the toe in their stance. So CJ, show us what it looks like if that heel starts to come off the ground. Now, if you notice there, the foot's in less contact with the ground. You're not grabbing as much ground, so when you get out of your stance, you're not gonna be able to explode and really grab as much ground as possible.
So Josh, something like this is really for mobility and less about strength.
Yes, this is for mobility, because you can be as strong as you can be, you can have a great squat, but if you can't grab that ground and drive it away from you, all that strength's not gonna show up on the field. So this is really something, it takes time to develop. You're not gonna get better at it in 1 week. You may not get better at it in 2 weeks, but if you do this consistently throughout an off season, you're gonna have a much more explosive get off.
So ankle mobility is a key component to explosive power or grabbing ground.
Yes, that's your key to getting out of your stance.
All right, well, let's see how it looks as we develop it, Josh. I'm gonna take CJ over here, and we're gonna have CJ go through a functional component of mobility, where we're gonna have him ultimately get tall, drive down into a stance, and explode out. So CJ, on this particular one, I want you to drive as far as you can. You gotta be an athlete though. Make Pitt proud. Here we go. Good, stick it. Beautiful. Now at this point, we have CJ reload himself. The key here is we don't want to be sloppy. We want to be able to grab as much ground as we can, but stay in a stable, functional position. Because a big, strong offensive lineman like Josh, if he catches you with a strike and you're off balance, there you go. No sack for you. So CJ, now what we're going to do is this. I want you to reduce the distance. Don't jump as far as you can right now. We're going to just go halfway, and I'm going to mark it. Reduce it. Good, beautiful. Now I'm gonna mark this for you. And here's what we're ultimately accomplishing. Good job. Slide on out the way. This is now our rep range. This is where we're gonna work to, because what happens over time, and we've all been guilty of this as athletes or former athletes, is we see our best work and we wanna try to replicate our best work over and over again. But in terms of performance development, as Josh alluded to, it takes time to get us from point A to point B. So right now we know that we can be neat, clean, and efficient at this distance. So I'm gonna have CJ do just a couple of reps, but try to make them as clean as possible. Here we go. Clean, good job. One more time, see? One more time. Get tall, snap down, explode, good. Hopefully over a period of time, we'll be able to get back to our furthest point, but maintain this posture, this neatness, so to speak. Because a good offensive lineman, if you're off balance, you ain't getting a sack. And another point is this. The key to all of this is about force production. CJ alluded to it, and obviously Josh and I are talking about it as well. We tend to see a lot of is sweet feet. If you want to have sweet feet, you shouldn't worry about getting sacks. You want to be able to move your body to point A to point B. You're wasting time and wasting motion by trying to look cute. It's a time and a place for that, more so when you're coming out the tunnel, like I used to be, sweet, swagged out, towel, everything. But nonetheless, I digress. The point is just simply focusing on force production, or, as he said it, what is it?
Grabbing ground.
He gets a C for the day. Now, moving on, next movement coming on up. Now we've made it to the fun stuff, the actual application of all the things you've just learned. Football is about skill. The training, it should definitely carry over to the field, but you actually have to practice it in order for it to do so. So Brian is gonna take you through a functional application of how to grab more ground.
Our get off is essential with vision.
Okay.
Okay, in football, so we've done all the training, we've gotten strong, explosive, but to have a great get off in the game, it works off a visual cue. So we're defensive lineman's watching the ball, you're seeing a calf twitch, a forearm twitch, and that's gonna get you on your path to the quarterback. So we're gonna take a simple tennis ball. A lot of times, this is done in front, and you can see the hand let go.
So you can cheat a little bit.
You can cheat.
Okay.
So we're gonna make it a little bit more fun and come from behind. So now he can't see anything. He's just gotta react on the slight little thing he sees. Josh, you ready? And you don't cheat, don't look back at me, just go when you see the ball. And you see he dips and picks it up and scoops just like he would be turning a corner.
Is that part necessary?
I think it helps. I think when you first start, just running in a straight line would be a good start. And as you get better and more confident, now we can start to scoop and bend that corner.
Should young athletes or their peers that they're working with, even the coaches obviously, should they switch sides in doing this?
We should work both sides, because you never know when you're flipping sides during a game. So you should get better and proficient at both sides, coming off of both legs.
Let's see what it looks like again. Let's do another one.
Okay.
Are there any variations to it?
There are. We'll see how he responds to it.
Okay. So here's what I noticed right there. It was a bit slower than the last one.
It was a bit slower.
Why is that?
Because he's anticipating the ball on the ground, so he's looking at the ground. And just like in the game, it could be any little thing that can set you off.
So he cheated?
Essentially, yeah, he's cheating the drill. Cheating the drill.
He's that guy. Cheating the drill.
So the more you can expand your vision, just like at any position, the more you can expand your vision, and the quicker you'll be able to process things and react that much faster.
Why is grabbing the ground or covering the ground so important for the pass rush perspective?
Because I want to get to the quarterback as fast as possible. In my mind, before the snap, there's a spot that I'm looking at that I need to beat you as the offensive lineman to. The faster I get there, the better chance I have. So I'm trying to get there as fast as I can, cover as much ground as I can, as quickly as possible.
I talked about it a little bit in the last segment. You know, you see a lot of this, a lot of sweet feet and a lot of that. So are they wrong? Is this a misnomer? Educate me a little bit, because, you know, I want to look cool coming off the line. I want to be swagged out.
For some guys, it does work. Right? For some guys, it can work.
Okay.
For the majority of guys, you have to get going right now.
All right, so the idea is you're not trying to look good coming off the ball. You're trying to look and be powerful coming off the ball.
Powerful and fast.
And powerful means sacks.
Sacks.
Sweet
quarterback
means,
hits.
Sweet feet means?
Ball's off.
Well, if the ball is off, you're not getting the sack, and that's a problem that doesn't move you closer to being Shaq Barrett. So now you know how a guy like Shaq Barrett goes from undrafted to an NFL Pro Bowler. It takes hard work and perseverance. So what are we doing? Let's get out here and play some football.